Welcome back, guys, to the Grand Tactician Civil War. The Battle of Fort Donaldson continues. And man, it's been a really rough fight here, but it looks like the rebels may actually be falling back, and what I think they're doing, either they're going to advance, go ahead and meet us in battle, or they're going to fall back to this tree line and this hill and hope that we follow through and attack. And we're just not going to do that. That would be absolute insanity. We've also still got some additional artillery arriving. I want to go make sure that we put it into place right now. So let's push that already into place. We've ordered this one to start moving. We're also bringing over some additional units that just kind of got left behind in the fighting, and I just want to use them to basically extend our line. So we've already got some skirmishers over there on the far left side. I want to bring in even more units and really just start setting up here. Let's also, while we're at it, start opening fire at that battery. Looks to be just a bunch of enemy batteries there in the front. They aren't firing, though. They seem to be moving away, and again, this is why I think there is a chance that they're falling back to that tree line. Now, we do have a second position, and that is the Humbert's Hill position. We are trying to get some additional units over there, but right now, it's just going to be these two guys, and that's going to be Madison Miller and whoever the hell else this other guy is. But I think we actually did send the first Confederate group falling back. That's Russell's brigade, and as long as we can keep up the fire, I want to set up this unit right on the road, so any units that attack are going to be getting that frontal line of fire, and then a subsequent flanking line of fire there on the right side. So I'm hoping, well, they're left all right. I'm hoping that's going to work. Unfortunately, we do have units like 2nd Brigade under Colonel David Stewart here that have completely been broken, but both armies have faced this sort of hardship, and if you look at the actual victory meter up there on top, it's quite frankly looking really, really good for us at the moment. I don't know if it's going to be the end of the battle, but it's looking like a major victory so far. Thought we had ordered that artillery to keep moving, but he's still back there, so let's push him forward. Get some of these 14-pounder James... No, that's a 14-pounder James rifle. Wait a minute. 14-pounders down here. I think the James rifle is a separate thing, but what do I know? And look at that, just whittling down the rebels here. Absolutely whittling them down in Russell's brigade. They've got 443 losses already. Of course, we do still need a courier to get all the way over here and give orders. And something that's worrying me is there's a Confederate courier right there going past our lines. Now, why would that worry me? Well, because that could mean that there's a Confederate unit behind our lines that we're not aware of. I'm thinking this is going to be it, though, and as you can see, the rebels are moving forward. Johnson's brigade, Cheatham's division 1st Corps is pushing forward, so I'm glad we brought these reinforcements. I really hope these guys make a big difference. In fact, I'm going to start targeting them with my artillery immediately. Just make oh, I didn't want to do that. Make absolutely sure that we're going to get a fight here. This, my goodness. Let's grab 2nd Brigade, put them up behind the stone wall. Oh, look at that. That's fairly new. We can actually hug that stone wall. That is cool. Needed reinforcements. Necessary reinforcements, I should say. Not sure why the artillery is not opening fire. I was thinking that it may have been a damage issue, but damage is fine. Enemy is retreating. All right, that makes my day. Looks like the enemy is going to fall back here from the fort itself, and I think that's going to be a victory for our side, if I'm not mistaken. Almost certainly. All right, guys, let's see the end of the Battle of Fort Donaldson. Does anybody remember what we decided to call it? If you do, drop it in the comments down below. But the end of the Battle of Fort Donaldson here, and we are going to move on to the next campaign, or the next part of the campaign, I should say. But that's actually makes me feel quite good that we held on here at Fort Donaldson. Looks like in terms of casualties, we lost 6,886 men, the enemy losing nearly 9,000, a total of 10,500, whereas we had 7,252. Yeah, that's absolutely a victory any way you cut it. I love it. Nice little victory at Fort Donaldson, guys. A major federal victory. And well, there we go, my friends. A glorious victory at Fort Donaldson. In fact, we even get a, or we send a report to the president himself, which I think is just really cool. Colonel Williams loses face. A few of these colonels just not doing so well in battle, but the fact is we did get a victory in the end. So I'm happy with that. Looks like still a lot of confusion over at Fort Donaldson. We're going to hope that it clears up here. And is that... I think it's... yeah, it's in the morning. So this is AM. Absolutely it is. Come on, get your military time right, Agrippa. So absolutely, early morning, we're going to take a look over here near Alexandria to see if these forces are prepared yet. Now, of course, it's going to take them a while to ready up. That readiness meter is growing, but again, they're still not there, so we're going to wait a little bit longer. What about 3rd Corps and 5th Corps? Nathaniel Banks, again, getting into that ready position, but not quite there. Another concerning thing is, of course, Monroe's garrison here being attacked by the Army of the Peninsula, although I'm not too familiar with the actual naval aspect of the game. So what I'm going to do is just take a few of these naval units and just kind of move them into place, see if we can't blockade the rebels from getting anything through here over to Richmond, etc., and to Lynchburg. See, the interesting thing is the Confederacy actually have 2 main arteries of trade income, and that is Virginia over here, but it's also Louisiana all the way down here. This is really where most of the Confederate trade comes through, is Louisiana. The Virginia area, not really so much. You know, they can kind of get by without it, although it's not going to be easy. So again, we'll just let that night pass. It's been a pretty nice fight for our boys so far, and let's hope that those supplies are on the move, that those wagon trains are on the move to feed, clothe, and rearm these men. They certainly deserve it. Good morning. Well, in the meantime, let's look to the far north, see if we got any other garrisons that need moving, but I don't think so. In fact, I think the Army of the Potomac is really the only one back here led by George McClellan that I guess is the farthest north, frankly, from all of our armies. But we do want to look elsewhere. We want to consider some additional attacks. We really have been quite lenient on the rebels in terms of the attacks we've done. We've kind of stayed like right near the border, which I like that in this game it sort of forces you to do that. You can't venture too much into enemy territory unless you've got the supplies to do so. It looks like George Morgan is soon going to have those supplies, by the way. But in the meantime, we want to take other armies and continue on through. Of course, it looks like the battle here is over, but you know what? I'm going to keep following if I can. Unfortunately, Ulysses S. Grant is out of troops, but I'm going to keep following with Henry Halleck and try to catch the Army of the Tennessee a second time. So this would allow us to really beat up on the Southern forces near Tennessee. Well, just the Southern forces in general. So I'm going to go ahead and push that way. I'm always keeping an eye on these guys, of course, to kind of see what's going on. Samuel Heintzman and the rest of the folks right there, the 5th Corps on the front lines. But again, this is going to be, you know, it's going to take some time to fully establish supplies, ammunition, etc. It is good to see that a few of these guys are getting there, though, but I do think it's going to take some time camped out in the field to completely, fully establish this. You know, since we're in enemy territory and we are encamped, we really can't do anything until those supplies arrive. Production is looking great, at least at the brickworks, but it looks like in general we've got production going up on just about everything. So that at least is making me quite happy. Goods and trade, again, it looks like both us and the Confederacy, have really been doing quite a few exports and imports back and forth. And you can see we're both kind of increasing exports and imports, and hopefully in our case, increasing our profits overall. But that's going to take some time to determine. Let's just take a quick look at the description. Now, of course, this is battles won. but we didn't get the first 2 years of the war. So, of course, we are starting... oh, wait, it's 1862, so at least the first year of the war. We're certainly starting to see some of our victories, but we've only actually had 2 battles under our current campaign, and they've both been victories. So I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with George B. McClellan being the head of the army, but I'm sure that Abraham Lincoln is going to be doing something about that fairly soon. At least we can certainly hope so. I've also been looking at the far west to see if we have any forces that we've been kind of missing out on. And I am seeing this force over here, but it's just General Armstrong, or excuse me, Major Armstrong and Major Jackson. 43 men here, so this is really in the Indian country. Our men are not, we don't have a large amount of men there whatsoever. We do have the Army of the Southwest under Curtis here. Now, it's quite a small army, but this entire area is pretty small, the Southwestern campaign. So one of the things we could do is perhaps take Curtis, kind of swing through there, see if we can't do any damage. But frankly, for a couple weeks now, or at least for a couple days, I think we're going to be sitting pretty, not really doing much, essentially waiting for our supplies to come in. Our readiness has increased quite a lot over here with Nathaniel P. Banks' army. Hopefully we can get that into a fully ready state. As for these guys right on the front line, though, Erasmus Keyes and Irvin McDowell, it is going to take a little bit longer for that readiness to get up here. It's currently at readiness of low. We want to get that readiness to, of course, completely ready to attack, and at that point we are going to sail, well, not sail, but attack down south, and hopefully on the road to Richmond get some excellent victories. But this is all going to take some time, of course, and I'm not sure how much time. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this campaign aspect, or if you want me to just skip the campaign aspect and go right into the battles, because again, this could take a little while. We could also just try to fast forward quite a lot more than we've been doing, like that, and make some determinations here as to where we want to move. Just make sure here on the border of Canada that we don't have any armies that could be used. And this is assuming that the British don't attack us. Although I haven't seen it happen yet, I have seen it, I have seen it explained as a possibility. So I want to be careful. So actually, our attack of Charleston was a massive success, guys. And this, of course, was our attempt to cut the enemy off in the sea at close to Virginia, of course, in the Atlantic. Absolutely wonderful. Now, I wonder if we should do the same thing with the rest of our navies and really just try to cut off the rebels wherever we get a chance. Because we absolutely cut them off here. Just look at that. It's a shame we don't have the naval battles yet, but that'll take some time. And it looks like we actually are constructing a second fort. This one is Fort Monroe Garrison Fort, next to the Department of Virginia fort. Does that make sense? No, I think this is just the Department of Virginia, and here's the fort. So it must have been damaged in the fighting, and now our men are doing the tough task of rebuilding. The other interesting thing I noticed, which I kind of just like clicking around found out, is if we click Maryland, if we click any of these locations, we could see kind of how much supply is rolling through. So right now, Baltimore, Maryland, if we take a look, there's not a lot of supply rolling through. Over here at the Fort Mifflin garrison, there is a tremendous amount of supply floating through at Philadelphia. So I wonder if we're supposed to kind of restructure, reorder these armies. I'm going to try. So I'm going to send them back to Fort Mifflin, at least McClellan. We're going to go ahead, try to get them back as quickly as possible. Let's do some rail movement. And that's going to take a little while. In the meantime, I'll keep the rest of these guys here. It's not like we have a choice. Once they're in enemy territory, they remain there unless we do something about it. I will, however, increase the time displacement there. I want to take a closer look here at the Department of the Mississippi. I wonder if we could go for Nashville, Tennessee. I think we could. We need to make sure that the Army of the Tennessee under Grant is ready, though, and no. After that battle near Fort Donaldson, it looks like they're going to need to take some time to really get prepared. So for now, we're just going to wait a bit, let these guys get prepared, take their time, and we might even try to bring them over back to Dover so that they can refresh themselves a lot faster. We also have John Pope over here getting ready. The question is, do we want to send them over here into Tennessee, or do we just want to go southwest and keep hitting the enemy over here in western Tennessee? Maybe hit them at Memphis? I'm not sure, but I want you guys to tell me in the comments down below what you think we should do. I'm going to probably have to accelerate time past a few of these days, just so that we get into a battle position or something like this. But of course, in the meantime, we are trying to restructure some of these armies, or really just resupply them a lot faster than they've been supplied. And it looks like even with his journey north, McClellan is gaining a few supplies. Let's hope that that actually changes once he gets up there, and hopefully that's one way to get this guy back out on the field a lot sooner than anticipated. In fact, I'm thinking of trying the same thing with Nathaniel P. Banks, at least sending him back to Harrisburg here. We'll go ahead and send him by rail as well. Again, just to refresh and re-ready these units. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this series. Please continue to hit that like button and drop comments down below. That way we can get regular episodes out like this one right here. Take care, my friends, and all glory to the Union.